Good morning. At the time of filming this, it has been 2 years and 8 months since I had gastric sleeve surgery. If you don't know the story of what led me to have this surgery done, I will link the video that tells you all of those details down below. It was certainly something I never thought I would ever do. And then just one day, bang, everything fell into place and I did it. I have had nothing but success with it, but I thought it would be really interesting today to talk about the 5 things I kind of wasn't expecting this far down the track, just so that you know what's ahead of you if you decide to go down this road. So, number one, I will always be watching my weight. I think a lot of people go into this surgery thinking, oh, I'll never have to think about my weight again. It'll just always stay off. And that is not true. And there are many, many people who put the weight back on because with the type of surgery I had, the gastric sleeve, you can re-stretch that pouch. Our tissues can stretch back out again. That's how we gain weight in the first place. Our existing stomach gets bigger and bigger the more you eat. And you will experience this when you go days because you've been sick or something like that and you don't eat much, your stomach shrinks. And so the next meal you can hardly eat anything because it shrinks and it increases depending on how much food you're putting in it. This far down the track, however, I've done enough inner work, inner work, inner work, inner work. The number on the scales is data for me. That's it. It's to remind me of, like, if it starts going up again, what are you doing? What are you eating? Are you inflamed? What's going on? If it's going down, even, are you actually losing weight? Is it dehydration? Is it muscle mass? There's so many different factors, which is why we have a scale that is very, it's one of those Bluetooth scales that tells you the breakdown of all these kinds of things. But now that scale is simply a number. It is not attached to my self-esteem, to my self-worth. And it doesn't matter how much that scale goes up and down. And it tends to it goes up and down by about 2 kilos, so 5 pounds. Nothing changes with my clothes. So I know for the most part, it's dehydration, it's inflammation, it's those sorts of things that day to day change. So I can wear the same clothes. I can pull up my jeans just exactly the same. The leggings feel the same. Everything else is normal. But I get on those scales every day because it keeps me in check. It's my accountability. And if you're not willing to get on those scales and look at the number and go, okay, that's where I'm at today, without it triggering you and causing you a meltdown, then that's what you need to be working on. Number two, I will always pay attention to food. And this is not so much the weight loss surgery, although yes, it is, but it's also about, if I stray, yep, I could put weight back on, but it also affects my inflammation. It affects my water retention, that kind of thing. So I'm not sure what I thought beforehand. I'm not sure if I thought, oh, I can just eat anything. Yet I've never been able to eat anything in my entire adult life because of my thyroid. I've always had to, like, pretty much reduce or cut out gluten and dairy and things like that. So it's really fascinating that I thought that I would get to a point that I could eat whatever I liked. And you know what? For the most part, things have improved. I can eat dairy here and there, even 3 or 4 times a week. I could probably have dairy as long as I'm not having it every single day. It doesn't cause the phlegminess and the yuckiness in the back of my throat. I pretty much stick to a low dairy kind of living, but if I decide I'm going to have a keto wrap as my treat with cheese on it, I don't stress about it. As long as I don't follow it up the next day with the same thing, I'm gold. But yeah, I'm not sure what I thought. And especially, I think the 6 weeks in, it was just before Christmas, and the dietitian said to me, I want you to go out and eat chocolate cake and pizza and sushi and all those sorts of things so that you can judge what you can eat, which horrified me because I'm like, you're supposed to be teaching people with this surgery how to eat better, not go out and try all the things so you know what makes you sick. That still blows my mind. Anywho, that's okay. I am quite good with the fact that I know I can eat. There's nothing that I've come across that has caused me to be sick, except for twice when I ate too quickly. So it wasn't the food, because it was eggs and cheese at that particular time, and I ate it too quickly because I was in a class and I was scarfing it down. You cannot eat quickly. And the second one, same thing. It was an oat milk latte or something, cold one in Bali. We'd been out in the heat. I was stinking hot. And it was so sweet. So the hormones, the sugar, it just went down too quickly, and I thought, oh no, I'm going to be sick. So I had to, we were in this, shopping center in Bali, and I had to hotfoot it to the ladies' room, sat there thinking I'm going to throw up in the toilet. And it kind of, as it settled, it went away and I was fine. But they're the only two times I've had issues with food, and it literally from going too fast. So everything else I don't have a problem with, but it doesn't mean to say I eat it, because I don't want to put this weight back on. I don't want to increase my lipedema, and I don't want the inflammation to get out of control. So I am now in that space of, oh, I'm always going to have to eat mostly 80% carnivore. And I'm just okay with that, because the rest of the time I can try the different things. I can have the little treats and so on, and it doesn't affect me. It doesn't change my weight. It might do for a day or so, because carbohydrates hold extra water, right? For every gram of carbohydrate you eat, your body will hold 4 grams of water, because it's a carbohydrate. It's meant to it hydrates your body, your cells, by holding on to water. As soon as I stop eating the carbs again, that extra kilo or so goes away. So that's why my weight goes up and down, because sometimes I will have a carb. Oh, shock horror. I'm human, just like you should be. This is all about common sense, okay? So number one was, I will always track my weight. And number two, I will always be tracking what I eat. Number three, you can never use food as an emotional crutch again. Okay. Emotional eating needs to be addressed, because most of us emotionally eat, because our whole world revolves around food, like birthday parties, food, Christmas lunches, food, Halloween, candy, Valentine's Day, chocolates, Easter, hot cross buns and more chocolate. Everything we do, we want to celebrate something. Food, alcohol, it's how we connect with people. And I love food. If you've watched my other videos, I love watching food videos. I don't eat it, but I love watching them. I love watching recipes. I would love watching cooking. I was a short order cook and a cake decorator for many years. So I love food and everything that it represents. Doesn't mean I eat it. I'm learning more and more to find other ways to deal with times that I would emotionally eat. And that's by working on my own happiness levels, because nobody else can do that for you. Nobody else can make you happy. Food cannot make you happy. Alcohol cannot make you happy. All it does is give you a quick dopamine hit for a very short amount of time, and then you have a plummet and you're back there even worse. And that's why I talk on Sunday mornings about the emotions, because unless we do that, we can't get a handle on the emotional eating, right? There's no way around it. I'm right. Okay. As much as you don't want to hear it, it's part of the journey. If you want weight loss surgery to be successful, if you have lipedema and you don't want it to progress, if you have thyroid disease and you're in the depths of despair with it, food, emotional eating has got to be addressed. All right. Okay. Number 4, you will never feel full again. And this kind of tacks on to the emotional eating, because sometimes with emotional eating, we need to feel that fullness, to feel like, oh, we're safe, right? It's a safety mechanism from the amygdala, that we've got a full belly, we're not going to starve to death, that kind of thing. So some people find that feeling of fullness something that they crave and need during their day. At the end of the day, it's why some people will not eat all day and then binge all night, because they need to feel that feeling of fullness in the tummy. Now, after you've had weight loss surgery, if you get to a feeling of fullness, you've gone too far. Okay. And that sucks, I know. But again, that's why you've got to do the emotional work. So you have to get to a point when you're eating that you feel your stomach, but you don't fill your stomach, because once you feel that stretch receptor, that fullness, you've gone too far. So it takes a really long time, and I'm really good at it now. In the beginning, no, not so much, although I never went more than, say, a teaspoon or a tablespoon. Actually, no, one of my very first videos when I wasn't feeling well, there was another time. And again, it wasn't what I ate, it was the fact that I ate a spoonful too much that made me feel so ill. Again, I didn't throw up, I didn't have any problems. I just had to lie down and, sleep it off, shake it off, that kind of thing. And it went away. But as time goes by, you get used to that feeling of, oh, I can feel my stomach. And that's when you stop, which obviously you're not going to be full at that point. So you're going to have a lifetime of never feeling full again. So if that's a dopamine hit for you, that's a reward center, a pleasure center for you to feel that fullness. And you may have to think this through, because this is not something people normally think about, right? And they don't connect. Oh, that's why I need to feel really full. It's because it makes me feel safe. It makes me feel like everything's okay. That's normal. That's a physiological reaction, and it's why so many of us do it. But if you have weight loss surgery, if you have gastric sleeve, I can't speak for the bypass and the duodenal switch and all those sorts of things. I'm assuming they're the same, but you will never feel full again. If you do, you're stretching your stomach out and you will put weight back on. Okay, so you can do it, but it's not comfortable. It's painful, and you're going to have repercussions down the track. So that's a big consideration that a lot of people don't consider, is that feeling. And that's why I always harp on, I know, probably too much, about doing the emotional work. If you don't do that alongside of the physical stuff, then your journey is going to be really painful, really tricky, and you're going to be forever fighting the weight coming back on. Okay, number 5. This was something I did not expect, but I shouldn't be surprised. And this is nothing to do with the food and all the things. People treat you differently. And it's lovely to be treated this way now, but it makes me so sad that beforehand, I now look back at so many times. It's that whole pretty woman thing. You go into a shop and people just look at you up and down and go, you're not going to fit into anything. So I'm not even going to waste my time offering you help, right? I don't know how many shops I've been into where I've said, oh yeah, I'm just looking for my daughter. I don't have a daughter. Oh, I'm just, looking for a present. And just so they don't think I'm shopping for myself, because there might be things in there that would have fitted me, tops, loose things, belts, shoes, whatever. But it's just that whole judgy thing that I don't get anymore. And that's really sad. And it's really interesting now for me to go to experience both versions of how people treat you. You don't get looked at when you're eating in public once you've lost weight, which, yeah, it's really sad. It's really sad, because I know what it's been like on the other side. But if you can deal with the scales being just data, no more emotional eating and all the things we've just discussed, then I guess the reward, as horrible as it sounds, is that you get treated differently. People see you. It's really interesting and it's really sad, and I wish it didn't happen. But I think the one thing I would say here is that everybody's reactions or judgments or criticisms always come from their own experiences. So while I know I was treated differently for so long, and while it's such a weird experience to walk into a shop and have people run up, how can I help you? That just blows me away still, 2 years and 8 months down the track. It's always about them. That's the thing we've got to understand. It's them battling their own weight. It's them that have perhaps lost their own amount of weight, or they're mother, their sister, their aunt was really overweight, and it's tricky and triggering for them, and that's why we get treated so poorly, particularly out and about in shops. It's more their own self being triggered for whatever memory it's triggering for them. But now it's bittersweet to be treated so well, and for people not to look at me sideways if I'm eating a sausage roll walking through the shops. Doesn't happen very often. But it's bittersweet to not have anyone look sideways at me with whatever I'm doing or whatever I'm shopping or whatever I'm looking at now. So that was the fifth thing that I really it's a hard truth. It's not pleasant, but it is what it is. So tell me if you're considering weight loss surgery. Tell me if you've had weight loss surgery. Tell me why. Have you got lipedema? Have you got Hashimoto's? What else have you got going on? Share with me what's happening for you, because then that's how I can figure out what things you want me to talk about and help you with, because I've already done lots of videos in response to comments, because that's how I help you. I'm a crash test dummy. I am that person that is willing to test everything and not be afraid to test things. So if I can test things on your behalf and get back to you so that it helps you make a decision, I'm here for it. All right. So let me know, and I will see you on the next one.